What is up, space pirates? This is your Admiral, the genially judgmental Dr. Disaster, and Sydney Sweeney has just released another ad that is lighting the internet on fire, this one here being for the Hey Dude brand, and naturally, it is sending the censorious, overbearing feminist shitheels into a rage.
Dirty Turkish back flat important Philip Martin Perkaluma Bert.
As we fight back against the censorship that is suddenly proliferating throughout not just the gaming industry, but in the bones of the entire internet itself. But as we fight back against this crap where they claim that actually everything they're doing is just for the kids. They just want to make sure that kids aren't exposed to objectionable material. Just make sure that you remember that these Sydney Sweeney ads, which there's nothing wrong with them at all, are they slightly risque? Sure, but beautiful women work in marketing, that's just common sense. But anyways, it's worth remembering that clearly, with the way that these feminist turds are reacting to Sydney Sweeney, they would love to censor this stuff off the internet as well.
Death first!
This is why I am pleased to tell you that it sounds like gamers are doing some really great work pushing back against the payment processors at Visa and Mastercard who have been forcing Steam and Itch into censoring adult-oriented material on their platforms. You'll remember that the other day I told you guys about the 4chan operation that was started against these schmucks called Fight Fire with Fire. The idea was that they shared the phone numbers and email addresses for customer service at Visa and Mastercard, and we would flood them with calls, bothering them until they get the picture that we want them to lay off the censorship.
Everybody just shut up!
Well, as you might recall, the other day when talking about this, I said that I didn't think this would work, at least not in the sense that we're going to get these guys to reverse their policies or anything like that, but it's always a good idea to make your discontent heard. Squeaky wheels get greased, and being quiet will only encourage more censorship. So, with all of that said, I am pleased to announce that it sounds like the employees at these companies, at Visa, Mastercard, they are telling us that our work is having an effect. These companies are being overwhelmed.
Ever notice how you come across somebody once in a while that you shouldn't have f***ed with? That's me.
Alright, me hearties, make sure that you hit the like button on this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and also, don't forget to follow me over on X, where my handle is Dr. Disaster 1. I've also started uploading some content onto Rumble too, so make sure that you follow Dr. Disaster over there. In any case, let's talk about this Fight Fire with Fire movement that has been blowing up the payment processors' call centers. As always, with something like this, I urge anyone who participates in this protest by calling in to Visa or Mastercard, I urge you to be polite and respectful. If you are rude or threatening, all you're doing is hurting the movement and making an ass out of yourself. So don't do that, just be respectful. One other thing to note really quick is the existence of this petition here, which I have been talking about for the past week and a half or so. This petition is urging the US Congress to pass legislation which will prevent these payment processors from working together like this to create an effective monopoly and to prevent people from using free speech. In very short time, we have hit almost 200,000 signatures already. If you haven't signed it yet, I have added a link to this site in the description of the video. But anyhow, let's take a look at this article here from Polygon, where they tell us all about the good work that gamers are doing on this front. It feels weird that a lot of these game journalist types appear to be on our side with regards to this anti-censorship movement. It's especially weird considering that it was their cancel culture mentality that these people were championing, which led to the overbearing zealots at the payment processors to begin censoring video games. Now that they've gotten what they wanted, corporate control over what video games are allowed on platforms like Steam, it's amusing to me to see these game journalists acting like they're against this stuff. Let's be real though, the only reason they aren't taking the side of Visa and Mastercard here is because they can see quite obviously how massively popular this movement against them is. I digress though, let's read what Polygon has to say. The headline reads, Visa and Mastercard are getting overwhelmed by gamer fury over censorship. And then down here it says, on social media sites like Reddit and Blue Sky, people are urging one another to get into contact with Visa and Mastercard through emails and phone calls. Visa and Mastercard have become the targets of interest because Steam and itch both say that their decisions around adult games were motivated by the danger of losing the ability to use major payment processors while selling games. These payment processors have their own rules regarding usage, but they are vaguely defined. But losing infrastructure like this could impact audiences well beyond those who care about sex games, spokespeople for Valve and itch said. It is as I have been saying all along, I don't actually hold Steam or itch responsible for their decisions to capitulate to these payment processors. They literally have no viable alternative. That's the problem. It was either listen to the cabal of financial institutions or effectively just go out of business. If Gabe Newell, as an example, chose to defy these guys, his site would literally stop functioning. They must be able to take immediate payment. I've heard some pretty wacky suggestions from people in the comments talking about convoluted plans to circumvent the payment processors by using Venmo and an email address, but we have to be realistic here. Steam literally has no other choice, at least for the moment. That being said, there is news here, as you can see from this headline, that itch is actively searching for alternatives. But let's read some more of this Polygon article telling us what is happening. It says here, in a now deleted post on the Steam subreddit with over 17,000 upvotes, commenters say that customer service representatives for both payment processors seem to already be aware of the problem. Sometimes the representatives will say that they've gotten multiple calls on the subject of adult game censorship, but they can't really do anything about it. The folks applying pressure know that someone at a call center has limited power in a scenario like this one. Typically, agents are equipped to handle standard customer issues like payment fraud or credit card loss, but the point isn't to enact change through a specific phone call. It's to cause enough disruption that the ruckus theoretically starts costing payment processors money. And let's be perfectly honest here, we would have to cost them an absolute shitload of money before they would ever decide to capitulate to us, before they ever bent the knee to gamers who they clearly hate so much. But it does sound like we are really starting to break them. This person on Blue Sky said, I wish this was a joke, but I got called a grapist today by a Visa rep. Think I just happened to be the call that pushed the woman over, lodged 2 formal complaints after that, and spun circles on the 2 calls, which was about 25 minutes. And then this person on X detailed his experience, saying he called Visa and asked about the censorship. They said he needs to send an email. He responded by saying, so I can just get a generic email back in reply? I'd like to speak with your manager. The operator on the other end said, please wait, I'm about to transfer you, and then, after a bit of holding, told him to send an email again and then just hung up. And then he details in subsequent tweets in the thread how he just kept calling back and getting the same person, and they were getting really annoyed. The point is that this pressure is working. My guess is that it won't force them to change their policies, but our voices are being heard. And who knows, maybe if enough of us let them know that we are fed up with the censorship, maybe something will be done. If you are interested in making calls, I can't risk showing the phone numbers here for fear of running afoul of anti-doxing policies, because of course YouTube has been very weird lately. But if you check me out on X, on my profile, the info is available in a recent post that I made on there. But in any case, I'm going to leave it there. Drop your contempt for this censorship cabal into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.